Now, starting off with strategy, our decision for implementing a niche cost leader strategy was interestingly enough based on convenience and simplicity. Prior to discussing our strategy, we had the pretty random idea to go with Subaru as our brand name, and based on this, we decided that it'd be effective if we followed their strategy and brand for our company report, and we based all of our report on them. Thus, it was pretty convenient for us to pick a niche cost leader as our strategy. That way, we follow like the same metrics and guidelines that they follow. So based on that, we established metrics like prioritizing high automation over increased capacity, as well as financing through long-term bonds and stock issuance, and most importantly, placing more efforts and significance into our low-tech products, making them more competitive in their market over our high-tech products, because we know at the end of the day that we want to feed our low-tech audience and be the best low-tech producers and not necessarily put that much importance into our high-tech products. Now for our team roles, they were outlined in our team contract as follows. We start off with a team lead who would be responsible for facilitating group discussions, and then a team scribe that would be responsible for basically talking and sharing and outlining meeting notes. Thirdly, we'd have a timekeeper responsible for keeping track of time and notifying us on deadlines or specific tasks that need to be done. Lastly, we had team debriefers and follow-up leads, which would be responsible for debriefing on the performance of the team and keeping track of the work, as well as post-meeting tasks. And overall, these roles were thoroughly discussed throughout our initial meetings to ensure that we all have the assigned roles that were fit to our strengths and other factors like availability, commitment, and off of that, we were able to assign each member a role that would suit him or her needs, as well as benefit the efficiency of the team as a whole.
That was Ursus with the summary of our strategy and the team roles. Now I'll take over the summary of rounds 1 to 4 for our Capsim simulations. As for our research, we decided to go with our tried and tested practice round strategy of having 3 products in our lineup, one in low tech, one in high tech, and one being research for high tech. Our first high tech product that we put into research was not competitive in the sense. We took a gamble using Foot as a median product between low tech and high tech and pricing it the same way. This had worked in our practice rounds as the product was quicker to release and easier to sell, regardless of the fact that it got low customer satisfaction. Since the sales had come in our practice rounds, we believed that it would stand true in this case as well. It did for the first 2 rounds, but failed immediately after, bringing our profit low and our inventory expenses extremely high, forcing us to take emergency loans. For our marketing, we found out through trial and error that once the customer awareness and accessibility were at a high enough level, we would only need a token amount to keep it there. So maxing out sales and promo budgets earlier on was ideal in our original strategy, since doing it in later rounds would imply having less funds to allocate to human resources and total quality management. We decided to keep to a pricing strategy that put the products at a higher price than market average, which we hoped would be successful as other high-tech products would be out later than ours. This turned out to be a bad move as it didn't work out nearly as well as it had in the practice rounds, with us having to keep a large amount of our mid-tier products in our inventory, pushing us towards an emergency loan. We changed our strategy though for the 3rd and the 4th rounds, but without the funds to make major changes, we couldn't bring our plans to fruition. As for the production, we had our low tech at very high production. We also introduced our mid-tech as the first product with high performance and low size in the market to catch the eye of the customers. But at the end of round 2 and 3, we saw that those products weren't selling as expected and we were left with a massive inventory. So we decided to immediately retire our mid-tier product and sell off the remaining mid-tier finished products in our inventory for cheaper, just to make up some of the loss. And at the beginning of the 4th round, we even decided to lower the production of our low-tech product to recover from the inventory that had caused. and retired another high-tech product to recover some money to put into our new product that we planned for round 5. Our gamble with mid-tier products that shot us high in the practice rounds brought us low in the graded ones. And for the finances of round 1 to 4, our original plan was to follow our practice round strategy where we had 3 products and we would continually retire the 2 high-tech ones one after the other and keep 2 in the market. But with the massive inventory in rounds 2 and 3, we were in large debt. We had to take out emergency loans, and those needed to be paid unless we had more piling up with interest. So we modified our plans, and discontinuing all our high-tech products brought us some money that we used to pay the emergency loan. Also, we reduced the capacity of our low-tech and the upcoming products so that we could research a high-tech product better than everything in the market with low capacity for round 5. So basically, we were trying to save up as much as we could for a comeback on round 5, which it seemed like we did. Now, Alma will take over the summary of the next round.
Summary of rounds 5 through 8. One of the critical pivotal moments in our Capsim journey occurred in round 5. In round 5, we went from a 3-digit loss to tens of thousands of dollars in profit. Our stock price went from $1 to nearly $30 as shown in the image on the slide. This drastic change of 30x growth happened after we niched down on our cost leader strategy and updated our products to keep them in the age range that satisfied the market. One of the major challenges we faced was investing in the right HR and TQM categories to improve our research and development early on. If we had done this, we could have updated our products to better versions a lot sooner than our competitors. Insights from our KPIs such as profit, contribution margin, and stock price helped us see what we needed to improve on to make a profit. For example, when our profit continued to stay negative in rounds 3 and 4, we had to look into what we were losing money on. The biggest issue was inventory. Our products were not selling, and they were not selling because they had the lowest customer satisfaction than that of our competitors. These insights allowed us to create a course correction strategy to bring our company value back up. Our strongest competitor in this Capsim challenge was Baldwin. Something they did differently that granted them a greater advantage was that they invested the maximum they could into human resources and total quality management as soon as it was available. This allowed them to have a faster R&D cycle and were able to update their products to the best possible version at a sooner date than the rest of us. They also invested in a larger workforce, had a lower turnover rate, greater productivity index, and lower costs overall. And now Cassandra will present purpose, goals, and objectives.
Here's a breakdown of our purpose, goals, and objectives. Our company's purpose is to always provide our customers with products that are reliable and affordable. As for goals, we want to create competitive products in the low-tech market, as well as increase our market share and stock price over time. For our objectives or tasks that we aim to do is to introduce new products every couple of years in order to stay competitive, adjust products to meet customer buying criteria, specifically to low tech, increase automation and capacity to keep up with demand, and invest in marketing for older products to increase awareness and accessibility to our customers. Additionally, we do have a couple of concerns, which include understock or overstock, as well as emergency loans, which are necessary if we do not end the year with a positive cash position. Now we will talk about assumptions and risks.
Next are the assumptions and risks. By focusing on a low-tech product instead of a high-tech alternative, we're assuming that the consumers in the market are seeking out slightly less reliable but more affordable products. There are several risks that accompany this assumption. For example, consumers might not want a low-tech product at all, as they might deem this technology obsolete or outdated. If this were to be the case, then our main strategy would result in a failure. We are risking a terrible start that would be very difficult to salvage. Attempting to introduce a new product every couple of years is also risky because of the potential losses. We are assuming that all our inventory will sell before we introduce new products on the market. This might lead to extra inventory which would be a major financial setback. Setbacks like this would delay new product development in order to ensure that old inventory is accounted for. Emergency loans might be necessary to make up for the money lost. Even though taking these risks could lead to massive failures, we believe that they are necessary for growth. They are crucial to our overall goals as a company, and we are ready to handle the repercussions.
First lesson that we learned is don't be overconfident. Our Capsim simulations have been a roller coaster ride this quarter. In the practice simulation rounds, we were dominating the industry, so in the graded rounds, we wanted to follow our previous strategy. However, this didn't work in the next rounds. As you can see, we had 5, 3, 0, 3, 5, 1, 4, 4 in the graded simulation rounds. It's been definitely a roller coaster ride. And our second lesson that we learned is don't retire products early. We weren't selling too many products and we were getting left with excess inventory. Then we retired the product completely. Retiring resulted in dropped market share because our new product that was going to replace the retired product was arriving late in the year. So it was a very, very valuable lesson for us. And the third lesson that we learned is investing in human resources and TQM. Investing in HR and TQM means that faster R&D time, lower turnover rate, and greater productivity index, and lower costs overall. So it's definitely something we should have invested. And the last lesson that we learned is paying attention to customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is an indicator of the sales you're going to do next year. If the satisfaction is low, then the customer will not buy your product next year. This is one of the reasons why we left with inventory. In the practice rounds, our customer satisfaction was low, but we were selling everything nevertheless. So that's why we didn't pay attention to that before it was too late. Nevertheless, even though we took the hard way, we learned a valuable lesson. Don't be overconfident. Thank you.